Hello, hello, good people. Welcome to Akello Diane TV.
Welcome.
Right, today we are going to talk about...
Are you messing up your night time as a couple?
You? Are you?
Are you messing it up? Because let me tell you something. Let us tell you something. Nighttime is a time for intimacy. If there's an intimate time, it is the nighttime. So are you messing it up? Are you messing it up by going to bed late?
Are you? Do you, your nighttime, is it just for you? You know, I know you come home tired and you probably don't, you don't want to do anything. However, I think it's important to make time. It's
very important to make time because let me tell you something. Let us tell you something. When you're working, you give the most amount of your active hours to work. And then you come home, you're exhausted. At least give that time to your spouse. So if you're that kind of person, especially us men, we are so guilty. We're so guilty of this.
And women too. Yeah.
Okay, I like the way she's really looking out for us men. Thank you, honey.
It's all right.
So yeah, are you the kind of person who's going to bed late? You're waiting until your spouse is sleeping, snoring, and is in dreamland, and that's the time you're creeping in. You just open up the door gently, you close it back, you creep in, and then you sleep, and then you imagine that.
Imagine that. I mean, if it's offense that's keeping you from your spouse, sort it out.
Yeah.
Sort it out. Yeah. See a counselor, or you just have a heart-to-heart with each other and talk about it.
Exactly. As my wife was saying, if it's offense, if the reason why you're coming to bed late is because your spouse hurt you, your spouse said something that you do not like, your spouse has an attitude that you find unpleasant, talk to your spouse. Don't be like, you know what, I don't like your attitude, so I'm keeping away from you. I'm running as far away from you as possible.
Yeah.
Because you know what, when you do that, when you come to bed late, you are planting seeds of assumptions in your spouse.
Doubt. You're planting doubt. Why is he or she always avoiding bedtime? Why do they not come to bed the same time as me? You start to think, well, this person, maybe they don't love me anymore. Or maybe they do, but, that's what assumptions do.
Assumptions, they open up the doors for all sorts of wrong thinkings. Somebody must be wondering, like, okay, is it that I'm not a good spouse? Is it that I'm wrong? Is it that he or she is cheating?
Yeah, they're cheating. Is that why they can't be bothered to come to bed on time? Yeah, it's
not a good thing. It's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing.
Or during bedtime, during nighttime, when you're supposed to be sleeping next to your spouse, that's the time you remember you have a smartphone.
That's the time you're on WhatsApp, you're on Facebook, you're chatting away with everybody except your spouse.
Imagine that. And then it hurts when your spouse tries even to open up. Maybe sometimes your spouse is peeping underneath the blanket just to see you, and you're there chatting and you're smiling.
Yeah, you're smiling down the phone.
Imagine. And how dare you touch your smartphone more than you touch your spouse? Come on. Leave that gadget alone.
Leave the gadget alone.
You can use it during the day. You can chat with people during the day. But when it comes to the nighttime, the intimate time that's supposed to nurture your relationship, your marriage, that's the time to touch your spouse. Because there's some conversations, honey. Do you think there's some conversations that, some couples are failing to have because of missing out at bed?
Absolutely. Sometimes, you come home, both of you are tired, you cook dinner, you bathe the children, you read them bedtime stories, and you kind of look forward to time with your spouse alone, to just tell him maybe how your day went. And then guess what? That's the time he pulls his laptop and goes to a corner and decides I'm going to watch movies to unwind.
Oh my goodness.
This kind of things, that's the reason some couples grow apart over the years, because they stop that friendship, that fellowship. If you don't talk to each other, how are you going to know what's happening with each other?
Exactly. And then you grow apart. That's the time some women remember they need to do the laundry. You're like, hey, my wife, what's going on? Now is the time you remember you have to wash the bed sheets, you have to whatnot, you have visitors tomorrow. Then
Nighttime?
Nighttime? Really, honey? Are you avoiding me? Are you avoiding all this good stuff? Are you avoiding the hugs and the kisses? What's going on? And maybe as a husband, you're there, you've been, just dreaming and longing for your wife. You just want her warmth in the bed, and then that's the time that she's looking for all sorts of chores and responsibilities to do at night. Or she's watching her favorite soap opera, reruns of series.
Yeah, reruns and reruns while you're just in bed alone
Yeah. It's
cold
not
bed.
Cold bed. Cold bed. Keep each other warm. Keep your marriage bed warm.
Yeah, keep the friendship going. You have to talk to each other whatever little time you have going in the night. Just spend it. How was your day, honey? Anything.
It's true. And I think, honey, you will agree with me that sleep is sweeter when you're sleeping next to the one you love.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. So when you fail to show up in bed on time to spend it with your spouse, guess what? Your spouse will not have a wonderful sleep.
No.
And then they'll wake up grumpy. They'll wake up, feeling like, some type of way. And then you start the new day with a foul mood. You start it with the wrong footing. Then it continues, and the next, and the next, and then the next day, simply because that night time was not well spent.
Yes, and by the way, we've talked about people who are at home just maybe being on their phones or on their laptops watching movies. But there are those who just don't come home at all.
Now that hurts.
That hurts.
That hurts. They don't come home at all, and even worse.
Sometimes they say, I was with my friends, and then I blacked out, or I drank too much, and so I decided to spend the night at Joseph's place or at Marcy's house.
Imagine.
And I just, I was too drunk to drive home.
Some don't even say where they are. They disappear. For a night, for 2 nights.
You call and you call and call and the phone doesn't get answered.
Imagine that. If you're going to come home late, let there be a legitimate reason why you're doing so.
Let there be a legitimate reason.
And please tell your spouse, inform your spouse, you know what? So that it doesn't because sometimes you could be having a spouse who's waiting for you to come home, prepared for you a hot plate, waiting for you to eat. Imagine telling yourself, I won't eat until my spouse comes home.
Until he gets home, and then some come home and they've eaten.
Yes, imagine. After that whole work of cooking.
Imagine.
Nah.
Not good.
Yes.
Not good.
So night times are meant to nurture your union, to nurture your relationship, to nurture your marriage. It's a time for intimacy. It's a very intimate time. So who are you giving your night time to? Who are you giving your night time to? And in case you're that kind of person, maybe you're like, I care and there, and you don't understand me. I do night shifts, and I do night shifts at work. We get you. Maybe that's your role, and you know what? You don't work every single night, though.
You don't.
So those nights that you're not working at,
make the most of it with your spouse.
That's the time to cuddle up, to talk, to reminisce, to have pillow talks, to make babies if that's what you want to do.
Well,
that's a night for you too, where every other voice is silenced. You know what? It's just the moon glancing into your wonderful window as you two celebrate that time together. So make the night time count.
Make it count.
And you know what? My wife and I, we wish you what?
The best of love. We love you.
We love you.